Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Magical Witchy World TV. And I am Star Ravenhawk.
And I am Rhonda Allen. Welcome back. Happy Thursday. It's
Yes.
our special
And we're doing
edition.
this Thursday. Yes, that's what I was gonna say. It's a special show edition for Lady Rhea that we were expecting last week, who had an unexpected death in the family. So agreed to join us here tonight. All right.
Yes.
So let's
So,
let's get going.
on with the show.
It's a magical, witchy world. It's a magical, witchy world.
Lady Rhea, how are you? Welcome, welcome,
Oh,
Welcome,
welcome.
welcome.
oh, thank you for going through this trouble for me to have me
This is
after I had to cancel, unfortunately, last week.
Yeah.
this
I'm
is
so
no
happy to be
trouble.
here. And I have to give you the typical Lady Rhea greeting, which is forget about a baby. We in New York. All right.
Yes, yes,
Right
yes.
on.
Absolutely.
Right on.
Absolutely. Well,
Love, love,
it's an
love,
honor to have
love.
you join us here tonight. It's all good.
Yes,
It's all good.
I'm excited
it
to
is
be
all good.
here.
Thank you for making it. So, as we
Absolutely.
like to
Anything for
do,
Star and Rhonda.
thank you. Thank you. So, as we like to do, we still, although many know you already, we want to introduce you and read through your bio. So, tradition of the Kentucky line since 1973. She began her career at the Warlock Shop in Brooklyn, owned by Herman Slater and Eddie Buzinski, and later was relocated as the Magical Child in Manhattan. She is known as the Witch Queen of New York and has been an occult shop owner since 1982 when she opened Enchantments Inc. with Lady Mayu, aka Carol Bolzone. In 1992, Lady Rhea opened Magical Realms, Enchanted Candle Shop Inc. in Greenwich Village, later relocating to the Bronx, where she cooperates the shop with her wife, Lady Zeradia. I got it right. Zeradia. Lady Rhea supported the Minoan Brotherhood with Lord Gwydion, aka Edmund Budzinski, and later co-founded the Minoan Sisterhood with Lady Mayu. Lady Rhea states that she is of the Gardnerian and Welsh tradition, but considers herself and all of her children as Edwardians from her high priest and teacher, Edmund Budzinski, Lord Gwydion. Her children, that is how she calls them, witches who have studied under her and have been initiated into the craft include Lexa Rosian, author of The Supermarket Sorceress, and Phyllis Carrot, author of Book of Shadows. In 1986, Lady Rhea published her book, The Enchanted Candle, based on the hand carved, embellished candles she has created for years. She published a second book, The Enchanted Formulary, blending magical oils for love, prosperity, and healing, in September 2006. And we are so excited to have you with us tonight. We will definitely
Thank you.
scroll how people can find you. And aside from your Instagram, you're also on, you said TikTok, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
Enchanted Lady Rhea.
Okay.
Instagram is Lady Rhea Enchanted. TikTok is Enchanted Lady Rhea. I have Lady Rhea on Facebook. I have
Perfect.
Enchanted by Lady Rhea, a group on Facebook. I have Rhea Rivera on Facebook. I'm all over the place.
Yeah, people will find you. That is awesome. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
So awesome. Oh wow. And it's so glad to have you again with us tonight. We've been looking forward to it. And I know we're gonna see you at Witches Fest on
Oh,
next
yeah,
weekend.
I'm
Next
excited.
weekend. So we're looking forward to that. Okay. So one of the first questions we love asking everyone is, I guess what you would say. You already said what you're called now, but when you initially started, what did you see yourself being called as? Like, that journey that you took, that arc of maybe you were calling yourself a witch or a Wiccan
A witch.
or
The,
pagan or whatever
the
it is,
word,
and
we
how you are
start out
calling
as
yourself now.
pagans. We
Yeah.
start out as pagans with the aspiration, most of us, to be initiated into a coven, which I did achieve. And Eddie brought me in with my first husband, David Farnham, together. And then he retired from actually being the high priest of the coven. And he and Herman remained in the coven with others. And it was, that's how it became the New York Coven of Witches. And it remained the New York Coven of Witches. And then later on, David and I initiated Lady Mayu, Carol Bozone. And Carol Bozone and I ended up being lovers and partners. And we continued the New York Coven of Witches. So most of the Wiccan community that started out in the 70s was from under me because Eddie had let it go. So he started the coven with me and then let it go. And then he wanted to do the first all gay male coven, the Minoan Brotherhood, which I have to tell you has grown over the years. It is all over.
It's
It's
huge.
all over the world.
Yes.
There are
It's huge now,
countries
yeah.
that
Yeah.
have Minoan brothers now.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
that's
very,
awesome.
it's a very large group.
So,
The
so
Yeah.
sisterhood,
basically, in your mindset, you've always considered yourself just witch, not Wiccan necessarily or pagan, but witch.
yeah.
Okay, awesome.
That is fabulous.
Yeah.
So I know we learned a little through your bio, but what brought you into this work? What was it when you first realized that this is work for you as a witch?
It was always there as a child. I used to do things. We had tea parties with the gods. It was the era I was born into because
Mhm.
Fantasia had just come out. I was about 4
Yeah.
or 5 years old. And so we little girls were so fascinated with all the prettiness of it
Yes.
that we used to pretend to be fairies or centaurs or have tea parties, but we had gods, we had mystical beings come.
That's
We played
awesome.
fairies. We also used to collect gemstones, like rhinestones were very
Mhm.
popular in the 50s. There
Mhm.
wasn't an artificial piece of jewelry that wasn't plucked bald by us kids because we took all the gemstones out and we used to
Right.
sit and trade them like the aurora borealis, like you see crystals with
Yes.
aurora on it. That was very prized.
Right.
That can get you 2 rubies and an emerald.
Oh my
Right.
gosh.
You
Yes.
know, the plain rhinestones were common, so we used. How it finally ended was my girlfriend Lynn plucked her mother's aquamarine out of her ring, and the
Oh
mothers
my
all went
gosh.
crazy. Dude, let me see your little gemstone collection because they had to find that stone and give
Yes.
it back to Lynn's mother,
Yes.
Millie. Oh my God. Then we would play like we were fairies,
Oh my
all
gosh.
kinds of centaurs. But when I was about 12 years old, I had this feeling. There was no Wicca out there then
No.
that was
Yeah.
It was
known.
just witch,
That
right?
had to
Yeah.
be 1962, like Ray Buckland was just getting here. I was 12. And I went to the school library to look up witches, and I found a small book on the Salem witchcraft trials.
Mm.
Read the whole book. Was always fascinated with prayer having a ritual purpose to it.
Mhm.
Even
Mhm.
as a child, I would pray to Mother Mary for certain things to be happy or be good
Right.
or be safe.
Mhm.
So I was always a prayerful person. That's just my nature. I have the moon in Pisces.
Ah.
Mm.
There you go. The moon in Pisces.
Yeah.
Try it, everything.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
So,
Okay.
it was always innate in me. I used to make potions out of my mother's perfumes with Pond's cold cream,
Oh my
Ginate,
God. That is
and,
definitely
and
aging us.
Noxzema. And I would show her,
Yep.
I made her this green goop.
Oh my
All her
God.
perfumes, all the Avon, everything that she
Oh my
had. So
God.
after a couple of weeks, she said to me, okay, look, potion time is over.
Over.
We're not doing this anymore.
Oh my
Fabulous.
gosh.
So I always
Love
wanted
it.
to blend perfumes, make
Okay.
perfumes. Yeah.
Awesome.
Right. That is
That's so
awesome.
funny. Man, she kind of aged us there. She said a couple
Right.
of names there that I'm like, the names
Noxzema.
still existed in her head. Noxzema and Pons. And
Gina
I'm like,
Tay.
do they
Yeah.
even exist anymore? I don't
Oh God, can you imagine the menthol camphor in Noxzema
know.
with Pond's cold cream
Yes.
and green Ginate? It's
Yes.
green.
That had to be epic. I remember all of those. I remember all of them. But
I'm
Mhm.
just
together,
remembering
not
them
so
when she
much.
said it. You know what I mean? I
Yes.
was like, oh my
Yes.
gosh.
Yes.
She just aged us way back, way
Oh my
back.
God.
Oh
That's,
my God,
yes,
yeah.
that's taking us back. Love it.
Oh wow. Okay. So from your point of view, not anyone else's, but what from your point of view, what does it mean to be a witch?
Oh, from my point of view, it's an innate spirit within you
Mm.
to want to work with nature, work with a goddess, work with a god, work with many gods. Um, I tease about it, but I call myself the God whore. I love them all, you know.
Yes.
And I also tell people, I'm a Wickaboo because I also practice magical Buddhism,
Ah.
systems of Buddhism that are on the magical end.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, being a witch is within your heart. You could have all the initiations in the world, but if it's not in here,
Yeah.
it's not there. In the charge of the goddess, she states, if thou cannot find me within, thou will never find me without.
That's
Meaning
true.
outside. You won't
Yep.
find me if I'm not in here.
Yeah.
That's the
Yes.
most important thing. My first goddess that I
Mhm.
really loved as a pagan was Eartha,
Right.
Mm.
Great Mother Earth. And I'm still
Mhm.
a big Earth lover. And Diana, the lunar, that's another one that I love very much. The
Yeah.
gods I like to think of are like Cernunnos. I like Zeus. I'm very fond of Zeus. But I think
Mhm.
my personal favorite is Mercury, that little bastard.
The little bastard.
Oh my
I
God.
mean,
Mhm.
so tell
I
us
got
a
to
bit.
catch him yet.
Yeah, well, that's gonna be rough with those little wings on his
Oh my
heels.
God.
Mm.
So how is magic? How do you fit your practice? How is it incorporated into your day-to-day living as witch? How is that incorporated into your day-to-day living?
um, I make a lot of candles,
Yeah.
and if I never learned the craft, and if I never made that mistake by accepting cases of candles at the child that he
Mhm.
thought were plain, and I signed a check for cases and cases of candles that were pullouts, I'd have
Wow.
never discovered this because it was an accident. And
Huh.
and I was afraid of losing my job because he was screaming that he was going to kill me, and not in nice words, none of nice.
No.
Oh, Herman,
Herman
no.
had not
So
nice words. I remembered him. I remembered his
Ah.
mouth.
I
He
was
was
like,
very mouthy.
he's screaming at me. I'm doing a reading, and he's screaming at me. And I said, "What did I do?"
Yeah.
And he said, "You signed for pullouts. You must sugar abroad."
Oh my
I
God.
said, "What's a pullout?" He pulled a green one out of the box and he was shaking it at me. This is a pullout. And it was bouncing in and out of the glass.
Right.
And I had a client sitting there. She had 3 kids, just left her man,
Oh
living
my
with a
God.
sister, broke. She was no way affording no $25 spell kit.
Right.
And that's when it dawned on me that I could embellish this candle. It was huge.
Yes.
So I grabbed it. I ran to the oil office. I grabbed an Exacto because remember, we used to do our own newspapers. So we did a
Yes.
lot of, cutting
Yes.
with Exactos. And I carved a dollar bill sign on one side. I carved a complete 13-step pyramid on the other. I
Wow.
covered it in oil, rolled it in gold glitter on wax paper, threw it back in the glass, went up front to Herman and said, "How much?" And he
Yes.
started doing the dance. He
The money
said,
dance.
$3. I said, sold. I carved
Right on.
everything I could get my hands on. I had
Oh
a
my
routine
God.
to make him happy.
Yes, that is
And
amazing.
There you go.
Mother
Saved her job.
and
invention.
it just grew from there.
That is
That's awesome.
fabulous.
And
Mother of
I have to say,
necessity. I love
I'm
that.
gonna say I learned my candle magic from Rhea.
Mhm.
That is
That's who
awesome.
I learned my candle magic
Well,
and carving and all of it, and I went on further with it. But this is who I learned it from.
and my
Have to
first
say.
candle magic book was Lady Reyes.
That's
So,
what I mean.
hey,
It
yep.
was the purple book, right? The
Yes,
purple flat
yep,
book.
yep. I
Yes,
have it. I have it.
that's the
I have
one.
it.
That's the one.
I have it.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's who I learned it from.
Classic. Love it.
Yes, I still
Mhm.
have the classic one, but it's kind of
I
like
have it.
shabby and falling apart.
Doesn't
So
matter.
I
The
do have the
first
new.
one is a yellow edition published in 86.
Oh, I didn't have
Oh,
the
I don't
yellow.
have that one.
It's a
Yeah.
spiral binding, and I had written it on. I was working at Enchantment, so I was like writing it on anything I could get my hands on. So it was done on legal pads,
Mhm.
matchbook covers,
Wow.
napkins.
Jeez.
Peter Conti would say to me, "I have everything as you did it, all compiled by matchbook to
Oh my
napkins,
God.
to pages."
Yes,
We would keep track
that
of
is
it. And I
amazing.
gave all of this to Walida Wasserman, Jim Wasserman's wife.
Uh-huh.
And because of how I gave it to her, she typed it out straight. There were no paragraphs. Nothing.
Wow.
The first edition was horrible.
Oh
And
my
still
God.
to this day, people say to me, I still love the first book.
That
Yeah.
is
I
awesome.
don't know
I
if
have
I
to
have
see if
It's
I
that.
the
can
book you
find it.
start with is the book you love.
Yes,
I started with the purple one, and was my Bible
I
for
have
That was
to.
a
candle magic.
93 edition.
You know,
That's the
and
one I have.
that's
Yeah.
the one I have, and it's kind of like old and tattered,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
still there. And I still have the new one that she gave me that I bought
Mhm.
from her.
Mhm. Mhm.
But
Right.
that purple one is my heart.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, I think I'll bring the yellow edition down with me to the Witch Fest so
Oh, I
people
can't
can,
wait to see it.
Oh,
Oh my
so
gosh, I
people
can't
can
wait
actually
to see
see
it.
this was
Yes,
the first edition.
I want to see that too.
me
I
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
Me
it'll
we'll have
be
to
fun.
see it.
too.
I could
Yes.
do a Lady Rhea museum.
Yeah. Well,
I did
you
this one,
We should do
man,
a
this
magical
one, man.
Yes.
museum in New
The
York of the magics of New
formulary.
York. You know what I mean? A magical museum of New York witches and stuff like that, and put all those things in there. That would be so
Right.
awesome.
I think that would be great if we had a museum in New York. They have a beautiful one in Ohio.
Yeah, and don't they
Well,
have one
there's
in
no
Salem?
reason.
I think. Don't
Where?
they have one in? I don't know if they
Probably.
have one in Salem.
I don't know.
Probably.
I don't know.
But in any case.
I think Rev Don Lewis had one in
Oh.
Salem. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's still there or not. But it's hard to get real estate, especially in New York, to do
And it's
that.
Yeah.
hard to get
Yeah.
museum licensure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 They don't
Yeah.
just let you open up a storefront and call yourself a museum. The
I know,
government
right?
will
No,
be all
that's
over
true.
your ass in a
Yeah.
second.
Yeah.
Deported.
Yeah.
Oh my
Right.
gosh.
Just
Send her
saying.
back to Sicily.
Yep. Just saying.
Oh my gosh,
Oh
that is
my
so funny.
God.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about what you consider the most important to you right now.
At the very moment,
Yeah.
beyond my family and my life and the love that I have for the craft, I have a new book coming out probably by Yule.
Oh, yes.
By when?
And
By Yule, we're hoping to release
Oh,
it by Yule.
okay. What's that one
It's-
about?
It's about the my history in New York, growing up in occult stores.
Okay, all right.
Beautiful.
Sounds good. Sounds
From
good.
the Warlock Shop was one of the first occult stores in the United States, to
Mhm.
the Magical Child, to Enchantments, to worked in so many shops after that. I worked at Original Products. I worked at Spellbound. I worked at Aunt D's Apothecary Shop on Lilac Avenue in the Bronx.
Wow.
Okay, okay.
Doing witchcraft and botanica at the same time. I've owned stores, worked for stores, taught in stores.
Beautiful.
My whole career, my whole life, all 52 years in the craft,
That is
have
beautiful.
been through stores, you know.
Right.
And, you
And
know,
stores are actually our temples. This is where we get to connect. This
And
is
yet-
where we had Circle.
This
you
is
know.
actually leading us into the next question we had, which is about your work with community. And you're talking about, that you having worked and been in so many stores, either
Yeah.
your own store or been a part of. And as you say, this is where your temples were. So tell us more about your work with community now. What's happening there?
Right now, I no longer own a store
Mm-hmm,
for the
mm-hmm,
last 8 years.
mm-hmm.
I rent a private studio from my friend Rita, who's an excellent Lenormand reader. Um,
Fabulous.
and she taught me Lenormand. She's the best. She's in my coven. So we still have a
Fabulous.
coven here. Um, we have a Minoan sisterhood going. And but right now it's like I work out of EV Florist. He buys my candles.
Right,
Botanica San Lazzaro carries my candles. I work
right.
2, 3 times a year. I work at the Aquarian Bookshop. I
Ah,
do magical weekends there. I'll be there for Samhain this year. I'll be in
beautiful.
Virginia. Um, Other than that, except
Hmm.
the Aquarian, I stay totally local in New York. I don't want to travel too
Good for
much.
you. Good for you.
I like just selling out of EV Florist. It makes it easier for me, and I have
Hmm.
private clients. I have a mail order, and now I'm working more on writing. So after I
Yes.
release this next book, I'm working on another book already.
Wow.
So
That is
this book has
fabulous.
been written. Now I'm working on the next book. So
Okay.
I'm
That
going to
is
be going more into
fabulous.
publishing.
Yes. Good. That
At this
still
stage, I
builds
just want to, and
community.
I like doing the free classes at EV.
That
So
is
what did
awesome.
you say that you're going to be doing self-publishing, you said?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I found that a little bit more easier than going to publishers.
If I
I'm
took
sorry.
this book to a publisher, and I could, I even
Hmm.
have an agent who would sell it for me. The problem is, it's going to take a year or two before they print it, put it out. I got to wait, la, la, la.
Yeah. It's a
I,
process.
I like I like sharing the information. I like teaching classes. I like giving back to the community. Oh,
Hmm.
once a month I'm at Hecate Cafe. We have the Enchanted Card Party.
Right.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's
Beautiful.
where we do $30 readings for
Beautiful.
Awesome.
15 minutes. And all of us are 100 and more. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's again making ourselves available to the community. And
That's
Right.
it's a
fabulous.
sober bar and it's witched out. It's Hecate. So the conversations in there we could talk about. If we're not reading, we talk about astrology, we talk about magic, we talk about the gods, we talk about rituals, we talk about spells. So we
Yeah.
really, I'll be there July 13th. So July 12th, I'll
Awesome.
be at Witch Fest. July 13th, I'll be at Hecate Cafe, 163 Avenue B, from
Okay.
3 in the afternoon to 7 in the evening. And if you really
That is
want
fabulous.
alcohol, you can go across the street to Lucky's.
There you go.
Okay. All right.
Fabulous.
Well, that was one of my questions, was asking you all the different events, which you listed already. So I don't know if I
Yes.
should be asking you that one again. But the one I
I
wanted
talk
to
a lot.
it's
It's
okay. It's all
good.
good.
It's
It's all
right
good.
here.
What
Yes.
would you like to see us as witches accomplish?
What would I like to see us accomplish as witches? When I started out, Eddie taught me that we were the hidden children of the goddess,
Mm,
and that's why we were so underground.
mhm.
Um, I think that I would like to see it accomplished more available, um, to people who want to use it. I
Mhm.
would like to see it where if there are solitary practitioners or pagan groves, they don't have to be initiated, getting together and
Yeah.
having their ritual like we did with Gay Pride. Um, I think I would like to see us, and right now under this administration,
Mhm.
everyone's leery of being public, of being out, of speaking out, of.
Yeah.
So I would like to see us have peace and,
Yeah.
and the ability to have freedom of religion,
Yeah.
Lady
That's
of
Fabulous.
Liberty.
yeah.
Hello,
That's right.
Libertas.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
But
she's
I'd like to
she's on
see it
my
so
little
that more
altar
people
back
can
here.
practice without having to say, I'm afraid, or,
Yeah.
you know, I can't find a coven to initiate me, or I found a coven and they were crazy.
Yes.
I would like to see more of good people like yourselves, like what you're doing, making it available to folks that can't do it. More Zooms, more availability
Mhm.
for
That's
people to
awesome.
worship the way they want, however they
Yes.
want.
In peace. Yeah.
Exactly.
Awesome.
So you spoke to us about your publications. You spoke to us about of course, where you're going
The
to
new book. Yeah.
be
The new book.
coming up soon. So can you remind everyone where they can find you? I've been scrolling where to find you on Instagram, Lady Rhea Enchanted on Insta.
Mm-hmm.
But remind everyone again, they can find you on TikTok.
Yeah. Enchanted Lady Rhea on TikTok. My web is Lady Rhea Inc. INC, or they can go to the old spelling of Magickal Realms. It's MAGICKALREALMS.com. It comes up under either. But
Yes.
I'm
Awesome.
no longer Magickal Realms Doc Inc.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I've incorporated just my name, Lady Rhea Inc.
Awesome.
Fabulous. And I do
I'm a
want to shout
brand.
out. Yeah, hey, that's right.
Now you
That's
gotta
right.
patent it. Now you gotta patent it because people are the strangest things when they know it's something is valuable commodity, which your name is a valuable
Yes.
commodity.
Oh,
If
yes,
you
it is.
don't patent it, they will try to take it the minute that it goes off for a minute.
I
Yep,
know.
they do. They do.
And then they will try to balls enough to then turn around and have you buy it back from them.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's
They are
all
amazed.
business.
Yes, it happened to me with Charm by Star. I was just
Mhm.
like, what?
It's happened to me
Whatever.
with one of my
That's another
businesses.
thing. Yes.
We
It's
get
awful.
clients contact me and they say, I know it wasn't you because you never write to me, hello, beloved. And I never ask anybody for
This
money.
is
I
what I
never
mean. Yeah.
go after people. Do you want a reading? I see something that's with you.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love those people when they write to me. I'm like, did you read my profile?
Yes,
I've
exactly.
been reading 50 years. What do I need you to read me
Thank
for?
you. Thank you. Just saying.
I'm
But
That's
laughing.
way too much.
I do want to shout out the guys, the people. I don't want to say just guys, but everybody in the chat. We have Vinny who says,
Yes.
New York
Hey,
Coven of
Vinny.
Witches in the house. Yay. And Rob, welcome back, Rob. Rob is often
Yes.
here. So we
Yes.
really
Yes.
appreciate you guys. Anybody in the chat shouting us out, visiting. We really appreciate
Blessed
you. So thank
be.
you. Blessed be. Blessed be. We want to thank you so much, Lady Rhea, for taking the
Thank you
time
for
to be with
having me.
us.
It's
So
been a
glad.
lot
And
of
again,
fun.
condolences from all of us to you.
Yes,
Thank you.
It's a
that
And
painful.
when
was.
if you share, are you sharing this? Then just tag me so I could share it. I love you,
Oh,
ladies.
yes, love you too. And
And
Rhea,
before I go, happy 4th.
Okay.
happy
Happy 4th.
4th.
What
Yes.
happened?
God
Did
is
she disappear?
God
Did
is
Oh,
you
bless
disappear?
America.
we are going to have our video now. And
It's that time of year
a little
again, me
about
pagan and
Witches
witchy
Fest.
folks. The time for Witches Fest USA, a pagan fair where we all gather dressed as all the magical folks we love, like fays, elves, sprites, and more, with magical vendors, enchanting performers, and magical presenters of all kinds, past and traditions. You can come in person and spend the day on Astor Place in New York City and enjoy free workshops, vendors, presenters, a DJ, and live performances. For information and registration, go to www.witchesfestusa.org. That's www.witchesfestusa.org. Get caught up in the magic and enjoy.
All right.
Oh, let's get us back to our screens. Welcome back.
I know.
Time
Our
for
screen disappeared there.
astrology.
I know. Okay. So Everyone, welcome to Astrology for July. Your July horoscope doesn't want you to make the same mistakes twice because retrograde season is upon us. So, as the saying goes, if you can't take the heat, then get out of the darn kitchen. Okay. This month's
Mm.
astrology is brimming with fire. And your July 2025 horoscope says each zodiac sign will be in the hot seat. Sorry, I know it's the heated time, but yeah, we're going to be in the hot seat. Can you
Mm.
rise to the challenge or will you get burned? A temperamental tone sets the mood as the month begins with Cancer in season in session, and an unexpected turn regarding a commitment or relationship may follow as Venus in Taurus aligns with freedom-seeking Uranus on July 4th. Expect a sudden change in plans, especially if you're holding out on a person or financial opportunity. Although the change might be disappointing, you'll still have plenty of options once Venus enters Gemini shortly thereafter. You have to be clear on what you're looking for in love, your finances, or design, okay, as Neptune stations retrograde in Aries on July 4th, which will occur at 1 degree. Okay, as you head into the second week of the month, you might feel strongly about adjusting your life with your long term plans in mind. Okay, as Venus works with exiled Saturn and Neptune retrograde on July 6th, it will reveal whatever you previously missed and change how you handle your arrangements. Communication, connection, and learning will begin to shift as Uranus enters Gemini for the first time since the 1940s on July 7th. Again, that's since 1940s, okay?
Mhm.
Nothing will ever be the same again. That's a given. It's a fact. It's set
Mhm.
in stone there. Thankfully, you'll be more than ready to let go of an age old structures and paradigms by the time the full moon in Capricorn rises on July 10th at 4:36 p.m. Eastern Standard, and that will occur at 18 degrees. As the sun conspires with the north node in Pisces and the south node in Virgo on July 11th, your motto is going to be out with the old and in with the new.
Hmm.
You won't think twice about tearing something down in order to start with a clean slate, since Saturn will station retrograde at the first degree of Aries 2 days later. Although this cosmic energy will be a lot to handle, you'll be more than ready to rewrite history. The second Mercury retrograde of 2025 will begin on July 18th as the cosmic messenger stations retrograde in Leo at 15 degrees. And I want you to think back to the last Mercury retrograde in Leo in August of 2024, if you
Hmm.
can remember that far back. Whatever happened during that time may resurface during this retrograde. Just know there might be an instantaneous opportunity for reconnection as Venus flirts with Mercury retrograde. However, this opportunity would only lead to more strife because warring Mars aligns with the south node of karma and opposes the north node of fate over the next few days.
Hmm.
And you may have to walk away from something all over again, since Venus will be at odds with the south node of karma and the north node of fate on July 21st. Drama will rev up or rev into action as the sun enters Leo on July 22nd at 9:29 a.m. Eastern Standard. The remainder of July will feel like a telenova, unfortunately. Okay? Lean into your performative energy to create a masterpiece as mutable Uranus inspires the theatrical sun. Trauma from your past may spur your creativity as Venus clashes with Mars the following day, but just know you may have to hold yourself accountable for pulling inspiration from such vulnerable moments in your connections. But this may further fuel your creative process. Life continues imitating art when the new moon in Leo speaks at 3:11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on July 24th and landing at 2 degrees. As the end of the month approaches, you may have a stark realization about who you are and how your community influences you when Pluto retrograde enlightens the sun. This energy won't be easy to digest. Unsavory truths about your personality, your actions, and connections will resurface or surface itself. Instead of beating yourself up, take this as your sign to start your rebrand. and reinvent yourself when Venus enters Cancer on July 30th. Venus in Cancer can define relationships, amplify your value, and reimagine your identity. So hopefully you will feel better about the direction you want to take by the Mercury Kazumi on July 31st, which takes place while Mercury is in retrograde. And this Mercury Kazumi will drop one last truth bomb to shed light on what's to come in August. Okay,
Wow.
when I think of that, I think of
Hmm.
what's that? That truck and what's the name of the movie with that what's his name?
As
The big truck is coming in and
Yes,
is controlled by the Mars going whatever it is, and
I can't think of the name, but
yes, threatening.
yeah,
Anyways, go ahead.
we got lots going on. July is
Yes.
going to be interesting. So hold up, tighten up that belt. Let's begin with the July 2025 monthly horoscope for each zodiac sign, and we'll start with Aries. So, your July horoscope says your friendships will never be the
Oh dear
same.
goddess.
People come and go, but true friends are here to stay, Aries. Aries, good friends are hard to come by. So, July's cosmic energy radically changes your social dynamics as your identity evolves. You'll realize that some friends are here for a reason, whereas others will only last the season. Who wants to stay home and miss all the action? Your Aries horoscope for July 2025 finds Cancer season imploring you to stay put, as the sun is currently warming up your fourth house of home and personal life. Despite the cosmic energy alluding to privacy, your warrior like nature feels compelled to partake in complex conversations and communal efforts. Getting out and about to be social will grant you a new friend or two as Venus enters Gemini on July 4th. Forming new connections will help you see yourself in a new light, since Neptune will also station retrograde in your sign on that day. Extreme shifts in your friendships and social circles will erupt the second week of July. So you may feel inclined to pursue close connections as social Venus meets with Neptune retrograde and Saturn on July 6th. Unforeseen changes in your social dynamics may evolve, since Venus will transform with Pluto retrograde. Your individuality and desire for authenticity will radically shift your social groups when Uranus enters Gemini one day later. Sudden falling outs and unexpected reconnections will alter your status as the full moon in Capricorn rises on July 10th. So, although chaotic, even though it's chaotic, you can rest assured that these social changes are fated. Don't take yourself too seriously, as Saturn stations retrograde in your sign on July 13th. And you may feel lighter and whimsical after months of direct Saturn compelling you to grow up. Learning more about maturity and patience will help you handle the forthcoming drama starting July 18th as Mercury stations retrograde in Leo. However, both retrogrades could also reinforce that you still have a lot of growing up to do. Tension breaks out around the end of July as warring Mars and martial Venus face off with the north node of fate and the south node of destiny. Some of your close connections don't understand your lifestyle. Someone might be jealous of your work life, or a connection may demand more of you. While this is stressful, you must not give it too much life, as Leo season begins on July 22nd. Who needs this energy when Leo season is all about having fun? So, anyway, yeah, don't be surprised if you give an ultimatum or let go of your less supportive friends. All right. Before July ends, you may feel differently about who you want to incorporate into your life. Only a select few loved ones will make the cut when Venus enters familial Cancer on July 30th. This is like a cleansing period, basically.
Yeah.
The cosmic energy validates your desire for a joyful, drama free life. And I know that's true about you. Joyful and
Don't be.
drama
You
free.
know me.
Yep. Don't feel bad about being
That's
selective,
me.
since your yep, since your friends should feel honored. Your friends should feel honored to be a part of your life.
Yes, too
Right
true.
on. Yep,
As
yep.
so rightly deemed.
Yeah,
Anyways,
it's true.
okay. So Taurus, your July horoscope says you're letting your guard down. Finally. And this month is for healing. Taurus, you don't have to put on a strong front. July's upcoming retrograde season will activate your healing journey. And you may feel initially exposed, but this cosmic energy will help you embrace being vulnerable about where you come from and who you are. Go within, as your horoscope for July 2025 says, Cancer season is deepening all that you're thinking about in your third house of communication and community. The first week of July will ease you into your healing journey, helping you think about what to work on and how to get started. Being kind to yourself takes practice, and you'd be surprised. Okay, there are a lot of people who do kindness to themselves.
Mm.
Continue with your work as your sense of security and stability fluctuates when loving Venus enters mutable Gemini on July 4th. Your mind has never been clearer while with Neptune stationing retrograde the same day. Your outlook on self worth, self respect, and security will deepen in the second week of July. Venus will meet up with Neptune retrograde and Saturn in Aries, bringing your awareness to your unconscious outlooks and internal biases. Something may snap inside you, causing a radical shift in your value systems. When zany Uranus enters Gemini on July 7th, you may realize that there's more to who you are outside of the money you make and the career that you have. These shocking revelations will help you close the cycle of assigning yourself self worth to your success by the full moon in Capricorn 3 days later. And it's time to focus on your dreams and artistry. Tapping into your self expression requires self awareness. Set the intention to work on your mental, emotional, and spiritual lessons when Saturn stations retrograde on July 13th. Address why you've subconsciously allowed weakened boundaries, lack of follow through, and authority figures to restrict you. You may realize this stems from unresolved childhood problems as Mercury stations retrograde on July 18th. And the retrogrades will affirm that you are so much more than your trauma. The end of July will affirm your life is more than just making money. Destiny says to pursue your dreams as action oriented Mars and creative Venus clash with the North Node of fate and the South Node of karma. And you might feel initially guilty doing something just for fun, but as the Sun enters Leo on July 22nd, you will realize that your hobbies and passions are part of your healing of your inner child. Okay? Try not to overthink if you're doing a good job creating art or partaking in a recreational activity when the new moon in Leo rises 2 days later. The last 2 days of this month will help you open up your healing journey,
Mm.
and you will feel more supported by your close friends and loved ones as Venus enters compassionate Cancer. Surrounding yourself with empathetic people will make you feel comfortable talking about your past during the Mercury retrograde Casimir on July 31st. But let this be the energy that you carry with you into August. All
Right
right.
on, right on. So let's go into Gemini. Gemini, your July horoscope says Uranus is setting you free from the past. You're remembering who you really are. All right. So, Gemini, you won't know who you are or what you stand for anymore. Your sense of selfhood will suddenly feel excuse me, ungrounded and unsure once Uranus enters your sign this month. But is this really a bad thing? As scary as it might feel, it's time to let the real you out. Reflect on what you align with. As your Gemini horoscope for July 2025 catches Cancer season, nurturing your second house of value and worth. Ask yourself the following questions. Does your community reflect who you are? Do you value yourself, your time, and your energy? Are you acting authentically in all that you do? Your answers to these questions will help you pinpoint what you can level up They'll help you pinpoint what you can level up once loving Venus enters your sign on July 4th. Setting the intention to work on yourself will expose what your friends think about you as Neptune retrograde also begins. Align yourself with people, events, and social movements that speak to your soul. Venus will conspire with Saturn and Neptune retrograde on July 6th, helping you find like minded communities. But be honest. Be honest about your long term goals and plans, and while searching for your place in this world. Your interests and desires are fated to change as you go through an identity crisis when Uranus enters your sign on July 7th. Let your freak flag fly by walking away from what no longer serves you during the full moon in Capricorn 3 days later. It's out with the old and in with the new. Around mid July, you might feel more unsure of your communal associations and aspirations once Saturn retrograde begins. It might be best to temporarily pause any social engagement or dream you're not feeling called to pursue. There will be something else worth revisiting when Mercury stations retrograde on July 18th. So, an old aspiration may resurface, or you could reconnect with a former friend. Tension regarding your rebelliousness will come up as commitment focused Venus and warring Mars argue with the north node of fate and the south node of destiny from July 20th to July 21st. Fateful changes surrounding your livelihood will arise, causing you to shift gears. So honor that you may feel called to something entirely different than your current path, regardless of what others will say. Stay true to your ideas, your whims, and more once Leo season begins on July 22nd. Then a family member may disagree with your outlook, but it's your life. Remember, set the intention to remain confident in your attitude and interests during the new moon in Leo 2 days later. And despite all the chaos, you may feel more at home with your newfound authenticity by the end of this month. Venus entering Cancer on July 30th will reiterate that you're intuitively aligned with your value system. One of your loved ones may finally understand where you're coming from and what you stand for as you go into August.
All
These are
right.
big This is a big month for
It
everybody.
is. It's going to be. And it said so, though. It said it
Mhm.
was going to be a very hot month for everyone, every sign.
Yup. So let's
Okay.
go ahead and pull some cards. Let's pull a card.
Yes. All right. So, Rhonda, what are we putting our card on tonight?
Well, we have some celebrating, and some people are celebrating, and some people are sort of not, but
No.
whatever. I'm just going to say, let us pull a card looking at how we celebrate our own freedoms. How do we celebrate our own freedom? And that is however you define freedom. But how do you celebrate the freedom of you?
Okay.
Oh, and here I am throwing cards. So I got to go with the one I just dropped because I love jumpers.
All
Ha! And
right. Oh, boy. Okay. Let's see what you got, girl.
I got the star. That's my jumper, the star card. And I
Oh, dear.
love this. I'm
Yeah.
working with this is the Wanderers Tarot. This is Pierluca Zizzi and Michele Dall'Osio. I can't pronounce his last name. I will correct that. But anyway, how do I celebrate my freedom? Star card. There's too much in this card, but let me just say this. When I look at the image in this deck, this figure here, the fact that she is literally typically the star figure is not dressed. She's unclothed. She's naked to the world, and the energy is very post trauma. But in this instance, when I look at this card and I look at this image and the star card,
It's
it really
carefree.
about the balance that I allow myself. So for me, how I celebrate my freedom, looking at this card, is acknowledging my dreams, honoring my dreams, on honoring myself and putting myself in that place of balance, meaning I tend to my physical and my emotional needs, and I am making my freedom is housed in how well I honor my dreams, but how well I also manage tending to my own physical and emotional needs. That's where I find freedom
Okay.
or
All
celebrate
right.
freedom.
So I don't know if you can see this card. It's Strength.
You have
And
the
it's from the
strength
deck,
card.
The Witch's Tarot by Ellen Dugan. I
We
love
both
this deck. I'm always using it. Okay.
yes.
And it's just such an interesting card for me because
Mhm.
I don't think I've ever gotten this card in any of our readings throughout the years.
Nope.
Um, the Strength card. And I guess July being that very, very difficult month that we're going to be facing, um,
Mhm.
it's something that I need. It also has the infinity sign on the
Mhm.
top. Do you see it?
Mhm.
I don't know if you can see it, but it's on the
I
top
can't
right
see it,
there.
but I know it's there.
Yeah, it's like it's very maybe yeah the you can't see it, but anyways, it's there. It's right above her head, almost
Mhm.
like a cat ears, but
Mhm.
it's the infinity, and I'm just like to me it's providing me with strength, and it's basically saying it's infinite. Um it's something that's inside of me. There's also these red roses right by the heart.
Mhm.
It feels like a lot of it is within me, and yet at the same time the support system that I have being built on the outside, um,
Yes.
that creates that extra buffer of strength and everything else, and resilience and perseverance, which is what we're going to need for
Yes.
July, and going into August. It's going to get really, really testy from July onwards. And
Yes,
it's
it's
basically
coming.
saying, do you have what it takes to mutter through all of what's coming from July onwards? And
Yeah.
it's warning us ahead of time, because
It's
it's a lot of things are going to be clashing with one another. And so, yeah.
absolutely.
um and pretty much that's it for me with that one. But
It's
at the same time, it's telling me I know I've got the strength within me and a
yes.
support system that I have in place.
Yes.
And we are going to be here tomorrow night at our regular show
Mhm.
with
Mhm.
Fortula a Dreamy,
Yes.
and which is July 4th, tomorrow, Friday. And we will want to see you then. We want to also thank Lady Rhea for joining
Yeah.
us tonight, for making the time to be with us tonight, because the other time would be too much later in the future to do a show with her, and her dealing with her loss at the same time. But it was such a pleasure having her join us here tonight, and we want to thank
Absolutely.
her so much for doing that, and everyone in the chat as
I
well.
do want to shout out a few more other readings that we received. So, Lolan, thank you for joining us.
Yes,
Yeah, Bomani, thank you for coming back and visiting us. We appreciated having you on the show some time ago.
yeah,
So thank you everybody for joining us in the chat and for joining us on this special edition. But yes,
yes.
as Star said, we'll be back tomorrow.
Yes, and
And
don't forget, you guys are all should be putting your card for the same, and see what it gets you.
yes,
See what
yes.
is it telling you that you need for this upcoming. What was it that you
The
said you want?
question was asking how do we're celebrating our the 4th tomorrow, which is our day of freedom. So how do you find freedom or celebrate, or how is freedom expressed in your world, in your life?
Okay, there you go. All right, so pull your
How do you
own card for
celebrate your
that, and
own
we will see
freedom?
you tomorrow.
Yes.
All
Have a
right,
great night, everyone.
all right. Take care and thank you.